We have all heard of problems our veterans have faced after coming home from war, but the story you're about to see is not about PTSD.
Yeah, it's about vets battling rare cancers and unexplained disease and what happened in the combat zone. Here's Jason Whiteley.
My name is Roy Torres, Army Captain retired. I was deployed to Balad, Iraq in 2007 through 2008.
We wanted you to hear what happened.
I was a logistics officer.
Directly from a veteran who lived it.
I was concerned about getting shot or indirect fire from mortar attacks, but never did it cross my mind that I would be suffering from an invisible wound from exposure.
Exposure to toxic smoke from his base burning its trash. Give me an idea what all you saw with your own eyes being burned at different burn pits.
Asbestos, hazardous waste, a lot of medical waste.
They're called burn pits. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the U.S. military made big landfills and tossed in everything. Plastics and tires, batteries and engine parts, even broken rifles. Then used diesel or jet fuel to set it on fire.
This didn't look like a good practice, and I told him so.
Dr. Daniel Brewer was the chief environmental engineer for the military.
A lot of times they burnt the really bad stuff at night. And the problem is, most people are sleeping at night in the tents and stuff, so they're breathing these fumes all night long and they don't even know it.
Torres came home with excruciating headaches, shortness of breath, and it wasn't long before it affected his job as a Texas state trooper.
I couldn't catch my breath after the foot pursuit. I was able to get the guy in custody, but afterwards I thought I was having a stroke. I was having shortness of breath.
Doctors diagnosed him with something called toxic brain injury and constrictive bronchiolitis. But hundreds of younger vets have already died from rare cancers and unexplained illnesses.
I just feel like my life has been taken from me.
Nicole Rosca shares Torres' symptoms. She served in Iraq as a member of the Air National Guard and is about to deploy again.
This is real. And it might be worse. I mean, it might be worse than Gulf War. It might be worse than Agent Orange. But they need to step up.
And that's the problem. 6 years ago, the Department of Veterans Affairs started a burn pit registry, collecting data about troops who say the smoke left them sick. But the VA has yet to do anything with it, saying in a statement that it is still studying airborne hazards exposure and forcing veterans to file individual claims instead of automatically treating them. Over the last decade, the VA says it got more than 11,500 burn pit claims from vets, but it only granted care for 2,300, leaving thousands of veterans responsible for their own treatment.
Is this an issue of money? The VA may not be able to afford this to treat
I'm sure
this
that's part of it, yeah. I'm sure that somebody's running the numbers and saying, hey, you know, how much is this going to cost us?
So Congressman Joaquin Castro introduced 2 bills forcing the VA to finally do something.
Look, we need to take all that information that we've gotten from our burn pits registry, figure out the most common ailments and what exactly happened to the bodies, and then I think ultimately do something more to compensate their families and the service members.
For now, Torres pays out of pocket for hyperbaric treatment in Dallas, hoping pure oxygen will help his lungs regain their elasticity.
The oxygen helps the healing process, helps decrease the scarring.
Headaches have eased, and so far Torres says this is better than any drug doctors have prescribed.
I keep the faith that I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this.
But the battle against the VA, just to recognize what they inhaled, is one fight these vets did not expect. In Dallas, I'm Jason Whiteley.
You know, this is an opportunity where we can all help. This is where we could call our representatives and ask them what they are doing to take care of our veterans.
Yeah, it brought back a lot of memories for me. Soldiers used to say if you hadn't heard of burn pits, you had never been to Iraq or Afghanistan. And I spent about 10 years going back and forth to both countries. And man, from FOB Ramrod in Afghanistan to Camp Stryker in Iraq, just about every base I went to, They burn body parts, they burn bloody clothes, and you saw that big black smoke, but what I remember is the ash. And it would get on your clothes, it would be on the tents, it would be on the equipment. The ash would just be everywhere. And I mean, I was only over there for a couple months at a time. I mean, some of these men and women were over there for a year, and then they go back year after year. It just, you know, Pentagon officials admit, you know, they didn't fully assess the risk, and they now are using contractors to dispose of some of that waste either in landfills or incinerators.